The door opens before you are ready. It always does. You hear the latch, iron on iron, and the sound travels through the stone walls of the room like something alive. You do not move. You have learned that stillness is a kind of armor. You sit on the edge of the low divan with your hands folded in your lap, and you breathe, very slowly, the way your mother taught you before they took you away from her. That was 3 years ago. You were 8. The room smells of cedar and cold plaster and something faintly sweet, the rose water they rinse the floors with every morning. It is a beautiful room. You have always known that. Arched windows, tiled walls the color of a winter sea, a copper lamp that throws honeyed light across the ceiling after dark. You have stared at that ceiling more hours than you can count, mapping its cracks the way a sailor maps stars. A beautiful room. A locked room. The man who enters does not look at you like a person. He looks at you the way a merchant looks at silk, checking for damage, calculating value. He is one of the palace officials, low rank but carrying high authority in this corridor, which is its own kind of empire. He says one word in Ottoman Turkish. Come. And you come. Because that is what you do. That is all you do. You are somewhere in the Ottoman capital, Constantinople, the city they now call Istanbul, though the old name still moves through the markets like a ghost. It is the late 15th century, and the empire is not yet done expanding. There are wars to the east and diplomacy to the west, and somewhere in that calculus, your father, a minor Balkan lord, made a decision that cost him his eldest child. The system has a name. The Ottomans call it, in rough translation, the giving of boys, a practice by which tributary rulers, vassal princes, and defeated nobles send their sons to the imperial court. Not as prisoners, technically. Never as prisoners. That word is too honest. You are called a guest, a ward, an honored student of the Sultan's household. You are a hostage. The logic is clean and ancient. Your father wants to keep his lands. The Sultan wants your father's cooperation. The solution is you, a living guarantee, held at the center of the most powerful court on earth, ensuring your father never forgets what obedience costs. If he submits, you are educated, clothed, fed, and eventually perhaps returned, maybe even elevated, given rank, made useful. If he rebels, you are the price he pays. You understood none of this at 8. You understand all of it now. Around you, the palace breathes with constant motion. Thousands of people live within these walls: servants, eunuchs, pages, scholars, soldiers, concubines, craftsmen, physicians. There are kitchens that feed 4,000 mouths a day. There are stables, gardens, libraries filled with manuscripts in a dozen languages. The Topkapi Palace is not a building. It is a world, and you are very small inside it. You wake before the call to prayer. Not from discipline, from habit now. The body trained by years of early rising. You dress quickly. The fabric is fine, finer than anything your mother ever wrapped around you, and you have stopped noticing it. Fine cloth means nothing when you cannot choose what you put on. You join the other pages, boys from across the empire's edges, from Wallachia and Serbia and the Albanian highlands, from Anatolia and the Aegean coast. Some are older, some are younger. None of you speak much in the mornings. There is a silence between you that is not unfriendly. It is simply the silence of people who have all swallowed the same understanding. You eat together in a long hall. The food is good. You have never gone hungry here. Hunger would be almost easier, a clear, physical enemy. What you have instead is something harder to name. A fullness of the body that coexists with a particular kind of hollow. The education is serious. You study Arabic and Ottoman Turkish, mathematics, horsemanship, archery, Islamic jurisprudence, poetry, calligraphy. Your tutors are learned men who neither despise you nor love you. They correct your errors with the same flat patience they would use on any student. This is the design. You are not being imprisoned. You are being transformed. The empire does not want to hold you forever. It wants to make you useful, fluent in its language, shaped by its values, loyal to its structures by habit and gratitude and the slow erosion of whatever you were before. When they eventually send you back to govern your father's lands, you will govern them as an Ottoman man. You will think in Ottoman. You will rule in Ottoman. The conquest, they have decided, does not need an army. It only needs time. You do not leave the palace without escort. You do not write letters home without those letters being read. You do not ask about your family too openly, because there is a kind of dignity in not appearing desperate, and dignity is one of the few things here that is entirely yours to manage. Sometimes a letter comes from your father, short, formal, written in a hand you no longer entirely recognize. He asks after your health. He mentions the harvest. He does not mention that he misses you, because men in his position do not write that down. You read the letter 3 times and then fold it very small and keep it inside the lining of your winter cloak. You have not told anyone about it. There is a boy named Milos who sleeps in the room next to yours. He came from a Serbian noble house 2 years before you did. He is 14 now. Careful with his words. Funny in a quiet way that surfaces only when the officials are gone. You have come to rely on him the way you rely on sleep. Not thinking about it too much, just needing it. One morning he is simply not there. His room is empty. His place at the table is empty. No one explains. The other boys keep their eyes on their food. You learn, eventually, through the palace's slow current of whispered information, that his father raised a rebellion. Milos was moved, somewhere. Transferred. That is the word they use. Transferred. You do not ask where. It is not the fear of violence. No one raises a hand to you here. The palace runs on ceremony, and ceremony requires that you be treated with a certain courteous distance. It is the fear of irrelevance, of being forgotten by your father, by your homeland, by yourself. The fear that the person you were at 8 years old, the child who knew the smell of his mother's kitchen, and the particular sound of rain on the roof tiles back home, that person is fading, being replaced, quietly and efficiently, by someone who belongs entirely to this palace, who knows the Ottoman words for everything but has begun to forget the words in his own language for simple things. Bowl, window, home. You still have them, but some mornings they come slower than they should. In your 11th year at the palace, you are 19 now, a man arrives from your father's territory. A messenger. You are permitted to receive him in a supervised room, 2 officials seated at the far wall, close enough to hear everything. The messenger is older than you remember anyone from home being. He looks at you with an expression you cannot immediately read, and then you realize he is looking for the child. He is searching your face for the 8-year-old he last saw, and not entirely finding him. He tells you your father is ill. Not dying, ill. He has been ill for some time. He wanted you to know. He also tells you, very carefully, in words that navigate the presence of the 2 officials with great precision, that there are men in your father's court who are discussing options, future arrangements, leadership questions. He does not say, your father's vassals are considering whether to swear loyalty to someone else, someone present, someone who has not been absent for 11 years. He does not need to say it. You hear it perfectly. After he leaves, you sit in that room for a while. The officials have gone. You are alone. You think about what you have been given, here, in this palace. The language, the education, the horsemanship, the knowledge of how power moves, through ceremony and debt and the strategic deployment of mercy. You know things about governance that your father never knew. The empire has, in a very real sense, made you formidable. And you think about what was taken. The 11 years, your father's face, which you can no longer clearly picture. The language of your childhood, which now requires effort. The life that was interrupted before it became itself. You think, if they release me now, I will go back to a place that does not know me, to lead people who have spent 11 years wondering whether to forget me, in a land the empire has already decided it owns. You think, if I stay, I will be useful, perhaps even powerful, entirely Ottoman, entirely erased. Neither of these is a life you chose. Both of them are the only options you have. You stand up. You straighten your robe, the fine fabric, the Ottoman cut. You walk back into the corridor. You keep walking. Years later, you will be returned. There will be a ceremony. There will be a title. There will be instructions. You will ride back through the gates of your father's territory on a horse the Sultan gifted you, wearing clothes that cost more than a farmer here earns in a year. People will line the road to watch. Some of them will bow. Some of them will stare. A few of the old ones, the ones who were grown when you were taken, will look at you the way the messenger looked at you, searching, looking for a child in a stranger's face. You will govern capably. You will be just, within the limits of what you are permitted to be just. You will pay your tribute on time. You will send the required soldiers when the empire calls for soldiers. You will answer correspondence in elegant Ottoman script. At night, sometimes, you will try to remember the name of the river that ran behind your father's house. The one you used to hear from your window as a child. You know it had a name. Everyone called it something. And the name was short and ordinary, and it was the background sound of your entire childhood. You cannot remember it. You have never been able to decide whether this is a loss or simply what it means to have survived. Perhaps those are the same thing. Perhaps that is exactly what they intended.